Hi, my name is David Keiller. I'm the Azure Business Manager for TD SYNNEX UK. And I'm going to be covering off the top investments around Azure for Microsoft's financial year 25, which runs from the start of July 2024 through to the end of June 2025. This update is recorded in December. So basically, investments are what Microsoft term funding, extra promotions, and extra money that's going into the CSP focus areas around Azure. So from an agenda point of view, we're going to be looking at the focus areas briefly for FY25, solution assessment service, moving through to Azure credit offer, cloud migration factory, Azure migrate and modernize, and then some brief updates for the incentive changes for this year and the team and takeaways for you as one of our partners. So no massive surprises on the focus areas for this year. Still, the focus around Windows Server and SQL migration is first and foremost. Personal level, that's still accounting for over 80% of the business that we're doing when it comes to Azure, and what you're seeing as a partner probably as well. There's still, unbelievably, quite a lot of Windows Server 2012s out there, which have well past the end of support window there. So if you're not doing something around that, somebody else might be talking to your customers about moving to Azure to make the most bang for your buck with that. Azure Virtual Desktop, still a lot of customers out there with VDI infrastructure in place, and there's a lot of work still that can be done there. Azure Backup, it's always going to be there, not going away anytime soon. And now for this financial year, obviously securing the cloud, Defender for Cloud is still quite a leading security offering in the Azure stack. But AI is now jumped up above that security message. So thinking about how to use the umbrella of Fabric products to do something with that data, getting your customers ready for utilizing insights and actionable information off their data. So, how do you start with some of these solutions? Well, solution assessment is always a good place to start. Knowing where you are, knowing where the customer's estate, especially if it's on-prem, what it's doing, what's in there, what the performance is running like at the moment, the memory and all the rest of it is all a critical part of moving successfully into the cloud, and just being able to know where you start off from is a really good place to begin a journey into Azure. Microsoft have been running the solution assessment service now for a couple of years, and it's been refined, again and again and again, and is in a really, really professional state, as you would expect from a Microsoft-funded team. They do a fantastic job, not only running the assessment and using the Azure Migrate tools, but also in delivering the reporting back to you and your customer. So as a partner, you can be as hands-on as you want to be here. You can, you'll be expected to be involved with the organizing of the meetings, and obviously being able to get into the environment so that the Microsoft team can accurately set up the scanning application, but also from the report delivery back to the customer, and obviously next steps, what's going to happen off the back of that assessment. So don't forget that this is a service that, again, is fully funded, so there's no cost to you, and it can help alleviate any shortage of manpower within your organization, or it could be used where you are net new to Azure, not sure how to use the tooling, and therefore having somebody to guide you through that would be massively useful. There is an entry point on this for the rapid migration assessment, which is your traditional on-prem to Azure lift and shift route. It's a 10 virtual machine entry point. And if you're looking at the security offering, then we're talking about a 30 user for the security assessment. Just to give you a little bit more detail on that, the rapid migration assessment, which does use Azure Migrate, is a very simple and quick process to go through with Microsoft. Talk to one of the team here to initiate your nomination there. But that goes in, scans the environment, comes back with actionable insights and suggestions for the environment if it was going to land in Azure, along with hybrid use benefit savings, along with reserved instance savings as well. And then when we're looking at the security assessment, this uses a really powerful tool from QS Solutions called Cybersecurity Assessment Tool, and that does two things. It looks at the overall estate of the customer from on-prem, cloud, SharePoint, users, admins, and all the rest of that. Couple that with a very short assessment, I should say a questionnaire that's done at the end customer's level, to then combine that into a really comprehensive report and review, which gives really actionable output for you as a partner, both from hardware suggestions through to security settings on admins and users. Everything from BitLocker through to Azure admins is covered in this comprehensive and funded assessment. So do give us a ring, contact one of the team if you need to know more about any of these. We have full documentation. We've got all of the outputs and examples to share with you. So after you've done an assessment, what then? Well, this is a very unknown offering from Microsoft, which is proof of concept funding. So if you've got an opportunity that's looking to be more than $12,000 in the first year of Azure consumed revenue, which is not really that high, then we can go and get a proof of concept fund for that opportunity to the value of $1,200. That is injected straight into the end customer's tenant, and then that will then whittle down as you start consuming Azure against it. It's literally as easy as that. If you have an opportunity that's larger than $12,000, by the way, there is additional funding available subject to the opportunity itself. So just talk to us. If we're looking at about a 10-to-1 return, the chances are we'll be able to do something there. The only caveat here is it's got to be a new opportunity with a new customer, as in it could be in Azure already, but it has to be something new that they're doing. It can't be the same thing again and again. But again, just talk to us about that and we'll guide you through the process. So assuming then that you've got to a proof of concept phase or you're thinking about it, you might be not as savvy about how to do the actual migration steps. There's another investment from Microsoft called the Cloud Migration Factory. This is a team that Microsoft have had for a number of years. They've been doing enterprise level migrations, and this is now available through the CSP channel to resellers in the UK and beyond, I should say. There's a couple of flavors on this. I'm going to talk predominantly about the SMB scale offer here, which is a faster process, a bit more caveated in terms of what it can tackle, but there are other things available as well. Just talk to us if you want to know more. So in terms of the workloads that the Cloud Migration Factory will cover, it's the usual kit and caboodle of solutions that are out there in the marketplace, predominantly, again, Windows and infrastructure migration, but they will also support RDS to AVD, SQL migration, and so on. Key thing to note, however, with the Cloud Migration Factory is it is a factory in name and in action. So it does not involve anything outside of a lift and shift. So it's not going to be able to support a refactor or any kind of design change, application modernization, or anything like that. So if you've got an opportunity that fits, it's lift and shift straight from on-prem into the cloud. Fantastic. We can utilize the Microsoft team who are experts at doing this for a fully funded migration. Up to you as a partner, whether you pass costs on, it's still going to take some of your time. So from an end customer point of view, this will either make you a lot more money or it will allow the end customer to get into Azure with the minimum amount of expenditure from them. It also dovetails into Jumpstart. So if you're also looking at AI opportunities or analytics and data, the Jumpstart team work off the back of the Cloud Migration Factory as well, or in parallel with them, and they can support a Jumpstart engagement, which is more of a hand-holding for a project that's already been signed off. Again, talk to us if you need to know more about that. Just to give you a bit more information on this, there's 4 stages, I should say, in the scale offer, through to initial discovery and pre-sales conversations with yourself and the end customer. goes through a couple of weeks. So typically, this project can be delivered in about 5 to 6 weeks. If you've done a rapid migration assessment already, this team can use that output. They'll sometimes do some additional checks, but often they won't, and they can use the data that's come straight out of that migration project, take that straight into the actual nuts and bolts of the migration to get all of that set up for you. Okay, so before I get on to Azure Migrate and Modernize, I just wanted to make sure that everybody watching this understands the partner journey, as it were. So hopefully I'm talking to partners now that are solution partners, or you might be still going along with legacy benefits that are about to, go end of life. But I'm going to talk about Azure Migrate and Modernize, which is a specific promotion or funding options linked to partners with a specialization. So if you either have a specialization now, be that in infrastructure or data and AI or AVD, then this is, probably why you went for a specialization. But if you're not already with a specialization, this is why specialization is, or should be, the next pathway for you as a business. So Azure Migrate and Modernize, partner-led. So in the last 12 months, Azure Migrate and Modernize has moved from being field-led only, which meant that the end customer needs to have an aligned Microsoft account rep involved to be able to initiate this. That is no longer the case. You can now use Azure Migrate and Modernize for any opportunity that you have, as long as it fits within the buckets on the screen that you're looking at now. So you only need, for the ultra small now, it's only a $10,000 a year opportunity. And the payout there, we're in region A on all of these, so thankfully that's the higher amount. So you're talking about a $5,000 payout per opportunity. Then that's the intention there, is that's going to cover the migration costs that you are spending to do the work, and any kind of additional training, onboarding and things like that that you're doing with your customer. As well as that, you've also got an assessment pot of funds here as well, which again is another $5,000. So if you're at the level of partner status where you do not need the solution assessment service, you do not need the cloud migration factory, you're a trusted, reliable, specialized partner, then this is where you start to get the extra money for that investment that you've already made. And as you can see, the maximum payout on this per opportunity is right up to 175k to $1 million pot a year ACR, with a substantial payout, as you can see on the screen there. There's an additional benefit as well I'm not covering in this session with Azure Innovate, which is if you're looking at next next generational workloads. So AI data is in there, cognitive services, things of that nature. That is an additional fund as well. But please just talk to us if you've got any opportunities that fit the bill. The website for Azure Migrate and Modernize is also excellent from Microsoft, and it's quite easy to navigate as a partner. But please talk to us if this is something new that you've never heard of before. We can help support that journey from a solution partner through to a specialized partner. It does require work on your part, and how could it not, with these kinds of investments coming back to you? But it's definitely worth the time and effort. So just a quick update on the CSP rebate earning opportunity. So providing you are a solution partner or higher, and you've still got legacy benefits on Azure, you've still got the 4% baseline rebate on all of your Azure consumed revenue outside of a reservation or a savings plan. The workload accelerator has increased from 2% to 3% this year. And as you can see, the workload accelerators are listed down at the bottom. Often next-gen workloads, real focus products from a Microsoft point of view for you to gain that extra few points of revenue there. But what they have now added, there's a new AI accelerator in here as well, which is another 7%. either or with Workload Accelerator, not both. And the reason that I flagged that in the green is because Microsoft Fabric, so the Fabric umbrella of data related products, data warehousing, OneLake, that kind of thing, they also attract a 7% incentive bump, and not forgetting the 15% CSP net customer add. So as long as your customers transacted less than $100 of Azure in the past 6 months, then they are classed as a net new customer into Azure. And as well as your 4%, as well as your 7% AI accelerator, you have an additional 15% rebate for the first 12 months on that individual customer's spend in Azure. So that adds up to, quite a high amount of rebate before you've even added your margin, before you've added your services and any other work you're doing for the customer. There's a lot to play for at the moment in Azure. There's still 10% on reservations and savings plans as well. So just to finish off, here's the team at the moment. We have a dedicated Azure development team headed by myself with Raj, Callum, Phil and Rob as well in the team. Not forgetting we still have the CSP team within the business as well, covering you for every query you may have, whether it be Modern Workplace, Dynamics, Azure, Platform, or anything else you might have come across. We have our pre-sales technical team, UK-based, 4 people in that team, 2 solution architects within that team, and the wider team across Europe as well for anything else that we can't handle within the UK. We have our own operations team, and we have our own global Azure technical and services, be that pre or post delivery team as well. So to take away for today, maximize your investment with your solution partner designation. Make sure you're making the most of the incentives and the investments that Microsoft have out there. Constantly thinking about adding new customers. 15% extra rebate is not to be sniffed at. Be mindful of the workload accelerator and any projects you might be considering doing that have a data angle. If that can go under the Fabric umbrella, chances are it will be able to go into there. An additional 7% is available there. And don't forget that solution assessment and the cloud migration factory, and of course the Azure credit offer for POC, is available to all partners. So just talk to us if you need to ask some more questions, need to flag an opportunity to us. We know all about this and we're happy to help. And if you need more information on this, sending over the full marketing co-op guide. Has all of the investments in across all workloads. It is unfortunately a 228-page PDF, but you can get that yourself from Partner Center, or we can obviously send that to you as well. So just ask if you're in any doubt about any of these or anything else on your Azure CSP journey. So thank you very much for your time. It's been a pleasure giving you this update today. Take care and many thanks.